Hello everyone. Today I bring this topic of how healthy or unhealthy we were or we are because of how we were brought up. And especially when discipline methods are discussed, there's always that defense of we were disciplined that way and we came out like this. We experienced these things and we came out like this. And we are just okay people. But even as we talk about the okayness or lack of it, then it's important for us to ask ourselves, how do we know we are healthy? Or how do we even know we are not healthy? Because that's a very common debate. So let me begin by the obvious that everyone quite knows, that children who were brought up by alcoholic parents or parents who were abusing drugs, parents who were abusing any other form of substance, children who were in violent homes were a lot affected growing up. This is because when one parent is violent or when one parent is an alcoholic, the other parent spends a lot of time trying to fix the one who is in alcoholism or the one who is violent. And as much time is spent fixing the other parent, children are forgotten. And I'm not talking about the basic needs of food or sleep or basic education. Those are not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to connect with children. So, as we argue on I came out well or I did not come out well, the question I would want us to ask ourselves is, were your parents present for you? Did you feel like you had friends in your parents? Did you feel like you were in a situation where you'd run to them, you would be listened to, you had friends in your parents? If that is not the situation, then it is important to know that probably you did not know how to connect. Why? Because our parents teach us how to connect. Because these are the first people we relate with. When we are able to relate with our parents, we are able to relate with the world. In other words, our parents teach us how to connect with the world. So if we had a good connection with our parents, then we are able to have a good connection with the world. And how does a good connection look like? Let me just share a few points to help us find out how healthy or unhealthy we became out of the way we were brought up. Number one is when a parent is able to appreciate a child when they do well and then correct them when they do not do well. If you grew up in a setup where you were appreciated for every little thing that you were able to do well, and I'm talking about young child moving through life, you know, the young years before going to school, and let me even say the first 6 years of your life. If you got appreciation from parents, if you did well in this area, they would come and say, well done. Then they were also able to correct you when you did not do well. Correction by the way of training. This is what you did, it is not good, this is what you were supposed to do, and when you do this, this is what it causes, when you do this, this is what it causes. That is the kind of correction I'm talking about. It's not the kind of correction that you always do everything wrong, you're not good enough. I'm not talking about criticism, because when you criticize a child a lot, what they learn is I am not good enough. So when you're saying I came out just fine, in other words, I am healthy, the question to ask is, did you get that? Were you appreciated and well corrected so that you learned to believe in yourself and also to cause other people to believe in themselves? If you did not get that sort of a setup, then you have an opportunity to learn as an adult only when you acknowledge that that is useful and it is important for you to learn. So when we're talking about I came out well or I am an healthy individual, then ask, did I learn to appreciate myself when I do well, and also correct myself when I do wrong? Did I learn to appreciate myself when I did well? Now, if you are appreciated, then you learn to appreciate yourself, so that when you achieve, you're not waiting for other people out there to be the ones to say you did well. And when they do not see, then you wonder, why is it that a friend cannot see? Why is it that my boss cannot see? Why is it that my spouse cannot see? While when they see, it is better, because every one of us thrives in being appreciated. When they do not see, are you able to appreciate yourself? Most of the time, and most people will say, no, I am not able to appreciate myself. Because learning to appreciate yourself is learned when you're little. It is learned when you are appreciated, when you're taught how to appreciate you by your own parents or by the first people who interact with you, the ones we call primary caregivers. If you learn appreciation from there, it is automatic. It's an automated way that you can appreciate yourself. If you did not learn that, then it is very difficult to appreciate yourself. And if you do not do, then you are able and likely to find others who will appreciate you. So you'll be looking out for appreciation from every other corner. And ideally, no one learns to appreciate others in school. So if you don't get it, then you feel so unappreciated from friends, from colleagues, from your bosses, and from a spouse. That is a number one way of being able to ask yourself, was I brought out proper, and did I come out as proper as I think I am? Am I healthy? One is by being able to validate yourself or appreciate yourself, assert yourself when you do well, and correct yourself when you do not do well. Now, let me discuss about part B of being criticized a lot. People who are criticized as children then ended up having a belief that I am not good enough. If someone does not feel good enough, they may work towards different, they may take different routes. One is work so hard, work so hard, so that they can deal with the belief of I am not good enough. Irrespective of how much they work, they never really quite get to that space of I am good enough. They keep working, achieving and achieving some more, and this achieving drives them to achieve some more, and yet even after achieving so much, they never really feel quite enough. So if you're in that category, you work so hard, and even with the many achievements you do not feel good enough, then know that your issue started right from when you were way younger. And you need to begin from there and begin the whole journey of healing from being criticized, and begin to appreciate yourself for the efforts that you make. There's a second category that simply did feel not good enough, and they do not struggle, and they live with a victim mentality, that because no one really saw me, no one saw that I did well, and therefore I don't believe there is any need to work to please anyone in the world. It does not add up, it does not make sense. Even as much as I try, no one sees what good is in me. This is not true, it is not factual. It is because our insight is filled with inadequacy of you are not good enough. So if either you are a perfectionist who works some more, and still you keep working to attain some more and not appreciate yourself, then understand that you have a deeper seated issue. If on the other end you are the one who plays victim, you do not feel anyone values you, no one cares for you, no one is there for you, no one ever, saw what you do well, or no one even imagines that you work so hard. On the other hand also, you too need to deal with an inadequacy within. Today I'm just discussing one way of knowing that you are not as healthy as you think. And as I talk about being brought up, there is no one who came from 100% healthy family, and no one comes from 100% unhealthy family. So it's a question of working on the areas you did not get, and also being able to appreciate the areas that you got and the areas that were given very, very well. So because no one comes from a perfect family and no one comes from a totally imperfect family, it's a question of knowing that every human being has their own inadequacies that we need to begin to acknowledge and work through them. We will be discussing moving forward other areas that will help us know why we brought up in a healthy way and what do we need to spot to know that there are areas within us that are not healthy. See you next time.